Hey, I got the best question from Maddie, and I wanted to address it here for everybody. And I'm going to just read it. It's behind the camera here. Do you ever get kickback from people saying that you are wrong / bad / unethical for producing a pattern that you have created with AI? And to that, I would say gratefully, not yet. And I hope I don't. I have a huge focus on using AI for good, using AI ethically. If you've taken any of my classes, I talk at length about how long AI has actually been around and how it is used in our everyday life, right? And in my book, I talk extensively about the ethics of AI. I talk about the neutrality of AI itself and about the ethics of the human beings who use it. And so, when it comes to creating art with AI, I'll admit when I very first started, I did what I had seen others do, and I would use artists' names to inform the type of output I wanted to get. I was taking a shortcut. Now, this really isn't much different than when you're in art school and you're learning about different movements, right? Cubism, for example. Picasso was huge, but there are a number of other cubists of the time. Or Impressionism, right? Pointillism, all of those different things. You learn about these different artists and their styles, and then you often, as part of a project, are asked to create an image of your own in the style of these greats that you've just studied, right? And it's interesting that we are somehow okay with mimicking artists long past versus contemporary artists today. Now, some of that has to do with, people who are alive today and creating have to earn a living from their art, right? And the sad irony of those that we call the greats are many of them never knew just how phenomenal and how well received and how integral to modern life their art is, because it wasn't that way when they were alive. And so it's a weird and delicate line as you get into AI creativity, because you don't want to disenfranchise. If you're ethical at all, if you care at all, you don't want to disenfranchise working artists who are alive today. At the same time, if you're like me, you have ideas in your head that you just can't get out, through drawing alone. And so using a tool like ChatGPT, Canva, etc., is an accelerator. But I measured the amount of time that I spend in AI creating what will ultimately be a pattern versus the rest of the work that goes into turning it into a product. And the numbers are roughly 7 to 10 minutes in the AI platform, and then anywhere from about 7 to 20 hours of manual work on my part to transform this thing that I had in my head that I got a framework for from the AI platform into something that not only I can create in fabric, but also something that others can then use to create in fabric as well. Everything from the instructions and how to write them in such a way that they're understandable, making sure that there's not really weird wonky edges and a lot of unnecessary detail in order to convey a shape in one of my designs. Like labeling all of the pieces, right? So every one of my patterns comes with printed steam unless you get the topmost one and then you print it out and you do your thing. But you know, sorting all of the number 7 fabrics all into one section, reversing it, and then, printing it. Making the paint palettes that get used, right? Making the actual instructions, yeah, for one of my patterns. Coming up with the colors that are ultimately going to be for the centerpiece image that is on the cover of my patterns, along with experimenting with different colorways to see if there's any, any other ones. Is this viable? Would someone want to create this in fabric if they didn't like this one and they wanted to play? Is it something worth playing with, right? So that takes a ton more time, because every one of these triangles, every one of these polygons, right, I physically drew using a computer program. So yeah, I haven't gotten a hard time, and I hope I don't, but I do try to work very, very hard to be ethical in my utilization of AI. So great question. Hope that helped answer it. See you soon.